Hey guys, welcome to another video. This one here is going to be a spicy one. We are looking at 5 mistakes that gold players make. This one isn't strictly just only gold players are going to make these mistakes. Some of this stuff will be things I make mistakes with sometimes. I hit 30 the first 2 weeks of this FIFA. Yeah, I am far from a perfect player. I make silly mistakes, I get frustrated, I do stupid stuff in game. But these are going to be mistakes generally that when I look at gold players' gameplay, tend to crop up quite a lot, tend to be quite consistent, and these are things that if gold players work on, I think will help them in a great way to go from gold to elite. Silver players, if you're watching this, or people who don't play Weekend League, I would still really take on board the tips in here, because these are things you can work towards. And elite players watching it, make sure you're listening as well, because there might be some things in this video that you're like, yeah, I'm elite, but I'm still doing this stuff, and it'll make you more consistent, take it to a higher level. If you like this type of content, you think it's helpful, please let me know. We could always do a part 2 to this, because like I say, I make plenty of mistakes. There's plenty of things that I'm doing wrong that I could improve at. So obviously lower ranks it's the same. If you want me to do one on 5 mistakes elite players make, a bit more of a complex one, or 5 mistakes silver players make, some of the more fundamentals, we can do stuff like that. You guys just let me know, because we're trying to make the best content for you guys. When I do these videos, I always like to start with team and tactics, because a big part of FIFA Ultimate Team is the team. It is literally called FIFA Ultimate Team, FUT, for a reason. The team is important. You might be looking at my team and be thinking, Zel boy, come on mate, like, your team's insane. Obviously it's going to be easy for you, and yes, the team makes a big difference, but I've spent a lot of coins on my team, a lot of real money, and I've built a specific team for a reason like this. There's a lot of ways that people can waste the coins, and obviously not everyone's going to have a team like me, not many people are going to have a team like me, but one of the big mistakes that I notice gold players make is they build teams that aren't very smart. They might have a 3 million coin team and 2.5 million coins might be in one player. One tip, the first one that we're looking at is team and tactics. The first tip I'd give is build a balanced team. So like if I had 7 million coins, I wouldn't be putting 6 million into Hullet. Hullet is a luxury player that I can just about afford around a very good team already. Build a balanced team for your budget. I don't recommend, if you have 1 million coins, buying Neymar and having rubbish players around him. Build a good balanced team, because you don't want weaknesses in any spot. Build a team that suits the game. So like I'll see people who might have a Varane who's one of the best centre backs, but then they put like a Harry Maguire next to him with 50 pace. Build players that suit the game. As part of Gamers Class, one of the things that we've been doing a lot is we've been making sure that we put videos out that tell you about the best attributes, things to look for. These are important. Make sure you take on board this type of stuff, because it's really going to help you guys build the best team possible. And you can know all the right tips, all the right ways of playing, but if your team's not fit for purpose, you're going to struggle. So building a good team is important. The second one, this is part of the first tip still. The first tip, so we're looking at team tactics, is having different game plans. So you can see here, I've got 4 different tactics. I've even made an adjustment to my balance tactic. So if you don't know about this already, some people don't, so I'll remind you. This here, so the 4-3-1-2, is not what I play in game. I don't actually play the 4-3-1-2 in game. I'm just using it for chemistry. I play either the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-4-2 second variation. But to get chemistry, I line up like that. You can see all the players have links. And then in game, I change to one of these. I use constant pressure from the start to try and negate kickoffs. And then I have 4 different game plans. My ultra defensive one's to see out a game if it's very tight at the end and their team pressing me, I need to hold on. My 4-2-3-1's a bit more of a conservative, balanced possession style. This is the one that I'm playing from the start for the most part now, the 4-4-2 second variation. Quite aggressive, get in the face, but it's quite a balanced formation with the 4-4-2. And then my all out to get back into the game is the 4-4-2, constant pressure, lots of depth, very aggressive, that I do when I desperately need to go. So many players, especially gold players, they know what they want to do and how they want to play, but they don't have a game plan to change. Having a game plan and knowing how to change things up based on different situations, managing the game properly, game management is key. So the first tip to help you go from gold to elite is avoid the common mistake of having stupid teams that aren't balanced, you're wasting your coins, and have a game plan. That is a big one that will help anyone improve at the game. For these clips, I'm going to be using a game from a Gold 1 player. Thank you to Jambo, not Jambu, but Jambo, who very kindly provided me a game that I could analyse. Jambo's Gold 2, Gold 1 pretty consistently, so a very good player. I want to clarify that, by the way. Anyone who's gold is very good. It's much above the average FIFA player. I'm going to look through this game and look through some of the mistakes that he's making. The first one, and this is one that creeps into a lot of people's games, but is a very consistent one amongst gold players, is they force passes that aren't there. One of the simplest ways to improve at FIFA is by increasing your pass accuracy. I'm not saying pass between your centre-backs or defence and just waste time. What I'm saying is go for smarter passes. If you have 90% pass accuracy, you're giving the ball away 1 in 10 attacks. 10 attacks? 1 in 10 passes. If you have 95%, you're giving the ball away half the amount. That's 1 in 20 passes. If you have 80% passing, you are giving the ball away 1 in 5 passes. It is going to be incredibly hard if you're giving the ball away once every 5 times you pass it to score. If you're giving it 1 in 10, a lot easier. If you're giving it 1 in 20, even easier to score. And if you have the ball, your opponent doesn't. So if you have the ball, you can score, they can't. If your opponent has the ball lots because you keep giving it away, you can't score and they can. So ball retention, possession, playing smart passes, not forcing things is important. Let's look at this clip here. So you can see here, there's not really much of a pass on there. The only angle that I could see whatsoever for this pass would be there if somehow De Bruyne got in. But Militao, who the opponent's controlling, is almost certain going to block that, so it's not really on anyway. And you have to bear in mind, it's not like it's Mbappe running in behind, it's Kevin De Bruyne. Part of making smart, good decisions with your passing is also to pass to players who are capable of getting onto it. If you're playing a through ball in behind, don't play it to someone who's level with a defender and probably slower than a defender. Kevin De Bruyne, KDB, fantastic player, but this isn't how to best use him. So this here really is not a very smart decision. It's a forced pass, and it just gives the ball away. If you look here, he's got some very good options. He could go into the middle with Messi, do a 1-2. He could maybe do a through ball down there for this player to run in, but instead he sees what looks like a mini chance to get in, and he forces it when it's not really there. Tip 2, stop forcing passes, play smarter passes. That is a massive way you can go from gold to elite very quickly. Tip 3, for a way to go from gold to elite, and a mistake that I see people do so often, and gold players tend to have the fundamentals of the game fairly well down, like they're pretty good at them. But one of the main mistakes I notice when I'm analysing gold players' gameplay is a lack of patience. Patience is so important on FIFA. On FIFA 20, it was more important than on FIFA 21. Like this game, it is more important to be aggressive at times. So my current tactic I'm running, I have 6 depth and press on heavy touch. Pressing is probably too powerful in this game, but it's about balanced aggression, not just diving in and being silly about it, because when you dive in on FIFA 21, the attacking AI's movement is so much better that if you dive in, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to give lots of space up, and on this game, finishing is pretty consistent. It's very good in my opinion. Obviously you have games where it's not, but it's so consistent that if you give an easy chance away, you're probably going to concede. So diving in is a massive mistake that a lot of gold players make. Let's look at this one here. As you can see there, he's already pulled his midfielder out. Not keeping shape by diving in and pulling players out of position is a big mistake people make. Ideally, you want your midfielders, depending on which formation it is, but most people run 2 midfielders at least in the 4-4-2 or the 4-2-3-1. You want your midfielders to be occupying here. You want them to shield your defence, because once people get past your midfield, it's trouble. You can see here, he then pulls his centre-back out. On this game, I pull my centre-backs out and aggressively step in and try make the tackle a lot more than FIFA 20. I'm not telling you by not diving in, or not diving in as much, that I want you to play super safe. Like I said, I'm playing more aggressive and pressing more now, but it's about being calculated. Like I said, balanced aggression, being a bit more clever about it. So he's pulled his centre-back out there when he wasn't really ever going to get the ball. You can see here now, Ansu Fati is not going to really go there and shoot on his left. It's unlikely. Yes, it could go in on this game, it's a lot better, but here, he's almost certainly going to cut back there and go to this guy or one of these guys. So, what I would be doing here, instead of diving in, I'd be controlling the Wan-Bissaka and around this area, holding jockey, slowing myself down, not diving in, giving myself a better chance. But instead, friend Jambo here pulls him out, goes there, and then from there, the opponent here, and this is probably a pretty consistent mistake goalpost mate, rushes his shot, forces something that's not there, and I mean Jordi Alba still hits a pretty good shot. It's a good save by Pope, but here he should have been punished and probably conceded. But you can see he got away with it, but there was about 3 or 4 times there that he dove in, pulled players out of position, and it very nearly led to a goal. And if you go 1-0 down in this game and people start to keep the ball and you get forced to press, it can turn into a bit of a coin flip match. All the tips I'm going to give you are ones that are hopefully going to make you more consistent. If you apply them, 100% you'll get more consistent, and consistency is key to improving. Consistency will get you better weekend league results. So tip 3, don't dive in as much, keep your shape, make yourself harder to beat. As we were saying earlier in the video, finishing shooting on FIFA 21, in my opinion, is very consistent. But one of the things that I've noticed, especially with gold players, is that one of the things that happens in a lot of the games where they lose and they maybe feel it was undeserved, is that they will have a lot of shots, but a lot of the shots will be from positions that probably weren't going to go in or are not that consistent. So whilst I'm saying that shooting and finishing is consistent, and it's a lot easier to score in this game, it's more about making sure you get into the right positions. There's certain positions on this game that if I know I get there, I will score 99 times out of 100. And I'm not saying just because I've got Eto'o or CR7 or Zidane. I'm telling you, if you have Marcus Rashford, Richarlison, players who are not that expensive, if you get there, they will always score it because the finishing's a lot better. But it's about making the right decisions. Decision making is vital on FIFA. It's probably the biggest skill gap, making good decisions and quickly. So here we're going to watch Jambo's play. So the tip 4 is about shooting. You can see here, this is a really good turn with Bobby Firmino, but when he shoots from there, it's not an awful decision in the sense of this can go in. It's not like he shot from here facing that way. Gold players tend to have a pretty good idea of the general way of finishing. On FIFA 20, the only consistent way to finish was near post. It was pretty much the only way that he was pretty confident it would go in. On FIFA 21, shooting's a lot more consistent. If you look at my YouTube or type in Zelonius FIFA 21 shooting guide, I've done a video on there already, so you can go watch that and I'll talk to you about the shooting, show you a bit more in depth. But this position, he shoots and it's not consistent. And maybe this is where having a better team would help. If you had R9, who's got 5-star weak foot from there, it might go in. I don't think it's guaranteed, but it would have had a much better chance. And most people don't have the very best players, so you have to play a bit more smart, have to go make your chances a bit more consistent. From here, I'll tell you what I would have done. Here, if you had a defender on you and you couldn't turn, then I would shoot. But when he's got the time and space to get it onto Firmino's right foot, because Firmino has 5-star skills, I would either do a running scoop shot, going that way with the controller to get there and then finesse in the near post. You could power it, finesse or power. Or, if you're not confident with tricks, take another touch there and shoot near post there. if you take another touch, I think you could probably shoot on Firmino's right foot, and just getting closer to goal when you've got the time is going to massively improve the chances of scoring. This goes from what here is maybe like a 30-40% chance of scoring to, if you get it there, with Firmino it's probably like an 80 to 90% chance. And it's a very minor thing, but adding goals like that, making your finishing more consistent, cutting out wasted chances like this will massively improve your results. And I'm sure if gold players watch their games back and saw how many times they have a half chance and they shoot rather than making it a guaranteed chance, they'd be kicking themselves and realising they could get a lot more goals. Consistency is important. I'm going to keep telling you it because it is massive. It is the best way to improve, get more consistent. And by making your chances better chances, making good shot selection, you will get more consistent. So tip 4, improve your shot selection, get more consistent, better decision making. That will massively improve you at the game. The 5th and final tip, or mistake even, that we're going to have for this video is set pieces. Set pieces are a very easy and reliable way often on FIFA 21 to score. You've seen probably already the free kick tutorial we did a few weeks ago. I think Jambu did a video on penalties for you. Corners are a very good way of scoring as well. When I say reliable, I don't mean like you can score every time with them, but if you know how to take them, there's a very good way of scoring with them. In this clip here, Jambo gets 2 corners. Let's watch it. The first one he takes short. There's not really anything wrong with that, but he ends up just turning straight into the defender. It didn't really look like he had much of a plan there. He did a trick, tried to just find a bit of space. It wasn't really going to work what he did there. But he gets another corner. So here, what does he do? He just puts it near post, and then he puts it in a position where the keeper comes out to get it. For me, when I take corners, what I do is I move it. He aims it there. That's not too bad. But I kind of put it a bit further this way, around there, and I switch to the player that I want to be heading it. Because if you just aim it in like this, there's a lot more RNG. By that I mean a lot more random. You don't get to control necessarily who's going to be heading it. Whereas if you switch to the player, you know who the corner's going to be aimed at. You can almost make a better run, put your player in a better position to win the header. For me, in my team, CR7's the player that goes for the headers. I score a lot of corners. Obviously, CR7 might be the best player in the game or one of the very best for scoring corners. So it's not going to be as easy for everyone at that. But if I can promise you, if you switch to the player on a corner and put them in a better position like this, you're going to score a lot more corners rather than just taking it short, not really knowing what you're going to do, hitting and hoping into the box. Having a plan of how you're going to take your set piece is going to make a big difference. Watch the videos we've done on penalties, free kicks. Take my advice I've just said here on the corners. So rather than just hitting and hoping, you're not wasting your time. What I will say is you're not just suddenly instantly going to be brilliant at the set pieces, but honestly, they don't take that much practice. They're fairly easy once you get used to them. And it could be literally that one extra goal that you get from a set piece that you've planned and you know it is more reliable could make the difference between the next rank or not. So get used to taking the set pieces. It's going to make a big difference. Have a plan. Don't make that mistake of just hitting set pieces without any idea behind them. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Quick recap of all the things that we looked at. Tip 1 was team tactics, get them right. Tip 2 was not forcing your passes. So many people force passes, don't keep good possession. It ends up just messing them up. So don't do that. Tip 3, don't dive in. Don't just play silly by diving in, making lots of space. Tip 4 was smarter shot selection, better decision making. And tip 5, make the most of your set pieces. If you can avoid these mistakes and turn it into positives and get better at these, I can promise you that is going to go a long way to improving your game. And if you're a gold player making these mistakes right now, maybe it will tip you over the edge into that elite area. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you'd like a part 2 of this, please let me know.